everyone, this is Shannon from theirishscrapper.com, and today we are doing a masculine card with one of these awesome sets in our catalog. This stamp set is called Whiskey Business, and this is just a nice fun fold design, very simple and easy to do. We're going to do a little bit of embossing, which I'm sure is kind of hard to see, but it adds great texture to this set on the cards and makes a really cool look. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. For our base, we are using cinnamon cider. This piece was originally 4 1/4 by 11. You scored at 5 1/2, and then I cut off 2 1/2 inches, which leaves you with this fold. So it's an awesome and very simple way to do it. We are going to use some Very Vanilla as well. This piece is cut 4 by 5 1/4. That is going to be our inside layer. And then the In Good Taste Designer Series paper is awesome, and there's so many patterns in that work so well with this set. It's definitely a must-have. So I've cut a piece that has a little bit of that cinnamon cider color in it, and I believe this is 2 3/4. Let me double check myself. Yeah, 2 3/4 by 4. We are going to use that here. And then I'm going to do a bit of die cutting with the Stitched So Sweetly dies. We're going to use 2 of those scalloped rectangles. And then we're going to stamp and do our embossing and coloring and make a really fun card. So let's go ahead. We can actually, let me get my little sanding block here. I can see my blade needs to be replaced. So I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal here to our Very Vanilla, and we are going to add that to the inside. This is such a fun set, and it's so nice to have a set like this for masculine projects. And this, of course, is my favorite Designer Series paper as well. There's a couple pieces in there that actually you can trim and like make a shelf, which would also be fun to sit your decanter and your cup on. So definitely take a look at that as well. Alright, so we're going to adhere that. Let me grab our die machine. And actually, I have our new die machine, but I have not taken it out of the box yet. So we're going to go ahead and use this one for now, just so I need to get that out. I'm going to use the larger rectangle on the cinnamon cider piece. This is a great color for this stamp set too, because it gives you a little bit of a, an orangey tone, I guess I would say, which is fun. Okay, let me just run that one little edge through again. Doesn't want to come off as nice as I hoped. Right there. There you go. Okay. And then let me grab the smaller rectangle. We're going to take a piece of Very Vanilla. We're going to cut that one as well. I've seen so many great projects with this set, and I've been dying to play with it. Alright, so that is it for die cutting. Now, let's bring in our Stamparatus, because I chose the Stamparatus is perfect for this because we're going to stamp and color, but then we're going to go back and emboss. So I want to be sure I have it in the same spot so that I get a nice emboss. So I have this set up here. We are going to ink this up in the Memento black. That is the ink that you want to use when you're using your Stampin' Blends. Give that a nice ink, and then we're going to lay that down. Okay, looks good. Alright, and then I have a piece of paper here, and I'm going to grab my blends. And I'm going to start with the So Saffron. This is the dark So Saffron. And I'm just going to kind of follow the lines here. I'm starting with the lighter color because we're going to blend this with a little bit of the cinnamon cider. And I found that I like this color combo, so same thing with the glass. I'm kind of going to follow that line, keep it below. And of course, if I wasn't on video, I'd take a little bit more time. This is the light cinnamon cider, and I'm just going to add some of this in here as well. It already looks great, but we're going to really blend it in. Okay, let's add a little bit in here as well. Good. Okay, now let's bring back that, and now I'm really just going to kind of do circular motions and really go over this. And of course I would let it dry a little bit in between if I wasn't recording, because that will help you kind of push that color around. But you get the idea. I'll come in here, do the same. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to bring our Versamark in. We're going to ink those up with the Versamark. We want to get a nice coverage because we are going to clear emboss. So that's why I wanted to use that Stamparatus, because I want it to be right on. It'd be hard to line it up since it's not photopolymer. So now let me get my chamois and clean those stamps up. That Versamark will stay wet. We're going to bring our magnets. Let me put one out of here so I don't get them hooked together. Okay, let's get rid of that for a moment. And now let's take that clear emboss powder, and I'm going to pour that right over our images. That's going to give it a nice shine. Super cool effect. You can see I really laid on the markers because they've bled through. Whoops, almost spilled that. Alright, let's put our embossing powder back in here. Okay, let me close that up. Let's take our heat tool and do some embossing. Hopefully it'll reach over. It's kind of short. Hopefully you can see that now. It really gave it a nice effect, and that black kind of comes out from behind. And then we're just going to fussy cut these out with our scissors. And because of the shape, it's really easy to trim it out. Alright, so there we go. There are two images. So let's go ahead. We will adhere our rectangles, whoops, together. Let me get my seal here going. Alright, let's put our rectangles. That looks good. Alright, we are going to add adhesive just to this side so that we don't get any over the flap. And then I just want to hold, kind of eyeball this and hold it straight. That looks good. Okay, so we are going to put our decanter and our cup. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp my sentiment first. in the cinnamon cider because I want to make sure there's enough room for it. I just made it on my first one, so just getting that out of the way first will be helpful. I'm going to pull this a little bit closer to me so I can see. And there's some great sentiments in this set too. Perfect for Father's Day, but great for birthdays as well. Alright, let's get some dimensionals here. I'm going to layer them on. I want a nice, solid piece. Alright. I really, really love this card. Love the colors too. Alright, so let's line that up. We're going to add our little cup. Oh, and I actually forgot. I actually did the little slice as well on my first one. Let me see here. I put the little, so I took a scrap of Very Vanilla and stamped that in the memento. And then I just cut it up a bit. Trimmed it down so that it would fit, and I actually got it within the cup. So let's add a little bit of our saffron again. And this one you can totally, you don't have to worry about being, you know, in the lines and all because you're going to trim it out anyways. So I really blended it up. And then we'll fussy cut it out too. I'm cutting right in between that curl to kind of get it to sit over the cup. Let me show you what I mean. So here you can see I have the little curl there, and I want it to kind of go over. So I'm going to come in right between this curl and I'm going to cut it off. And that hopefully, oops, it gets kind of soft there from the blends. See? And I don't want it to interfere with the sentiment. And so you can add a little tiny glue dot. I'm going to fold it in half. Actually, even a part of a glue dot would probably be enough. I'm going to add that. And then we're going to stick it right like that. Look how cute. And then when you open, we're also going to stamp our sentiment, Your Top Shelf, in the center. And because of how we did our rectangles, it shouldn't show. It should be covered. And then you'll have plenty of room to write. And then I think I did not do my envelope yet, and you know I never leave a naked envelope. So I think I would probably emboss the cup or the decanter right here on the corner of my envelope and color it as well. But there is today's card. Isn't that cool? I love the feel of that clear embossing, and it's so easy. Embossing is one of my favorite techniques. So easy to do. Anybody can do it if you haven't tried it. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video. You can pick up all of the supplies we used today in my online store. There will be a new host code. I will put that in the description as well as on the screen, and I look forward to being back with you real soon. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.